So my name is Luke. Um, as you know, you can see this is not my probably not my real name, but this is my lucky name. One of my best friends gave me this name when I was in China, and after that, my life actually become really easy because Luke Skywalker is always a really easy um, topic starter. So that's great, and I'm known as Luke is crazy man. But don't be too scared. I'm not that crazy yet. I think the reason the name come from is actually my Chinese name. There's a crazy. There's one letter means crazy. So it starts with like my friends making fun of me. You are crazy man in Chinese. And then I see an opportunity and continuing branding it until now. So now you can hashtag or search Lucas Crazy Man. Basically, you can find everything about me. Uh, so today, I think everyone's really tired. There's a information overload because I've been to conferences. I know the second day this time after lunch is the toughest time. So I will make my presentations really easy. Really, it's more really from my personal journey, where I got my topics, why I think that's really interesting and important to share with you guys. So it's really just have a journey with me from all different ways how I see things, and hopefully in the end they can inspire you guys and to see maybe see things in a different point of view. So start with I can introduce my background. Um, so I start my first job at the Goodby Silverstein Partners in San Francisco. And they are the integrated agents, advertising agency, and known as their God Milk commercial. If you know the advertising company God Milk, they did that. So this is how I start my career: is working in the integrated company, advertising company. And then I realized one thing is I want to do digital. I know that's a future. That's definitely the big potential. But however, I don't think advertising company is the best place to learn digital. So I was searching jobs and see what's the best place I can learn what's real digital. And I've got my second job at Huge, which is a Brooklyn-based digital design company. They are really strong for their design strategy and UX, super solid. And that's the place I start my real digital career. And that's the place I actually start from doing production, which is I hate. I was like, my title was visual designer, but I was creating assets for developer. That moment, I was really dislike it. But later on, I realized that's such an important element when I knowing what I design is how they bring it to life. So this is my journey at Huge, which is really encourage my knowledge about digital products. Then I got opportunity at the Razorfish, which is a digital integrated company as well. They have strong media and search background, and that's a place I've been working on more integrated campaign for ads and for variety clients and pitches and stuff. So that's a place actually I know media, digital media, how important that is, and search and other elements. So digital is not just design. Digital is not just interaction. It's everything surrounded make it works. So it's not just one thing. Like advertising used to be a print ad, a TV, or an event. So it's more complex element, I realize. So after that, I start my career, continuing my career at 360i. It's famous for social media. They are strong. Their most famous part is the Oreo blackout social post, if you know, and they've been handling all the Oreo social media accounts. So that time actually is a takeoff of social media as well. So now there's one more element add on my experience, which is social media. And still nowadays, this plays an important part of my career is understand how social media works and uh, uh, how a social media company can grow so big with different elements and how they work together. So after that, I kind of really tired of advertising because I feel like this is not something really meaningful. Because I think I like old school advertising when the Mad Men period, because you are really doing something, can really truly change people's behavior or change a company's strategy or life even. So then I actually gave up my stable fancy job and go to a startup called the Science Project. They are the interactive installation platforms and mainly for fashion brands. And that time I was working on Uniqlo and Calvin Klein and clients like that, doing like how to using digital to integrate in the retail space. And that's the place I designed and not designed. I have a chance to really create a CMS system, which is I was never imagining. I even don't know what it is in the beginning. Then I realized that's such a complex system. Even nowadays at IKEA, I realized, oh, there's a system there. It's really, really powerful. And also learned envision those prototype tools there. So I learned so much really more hands-on and also directly with developers to create installations and stuff. So that's a place I actually more hands-on and also closely work with developers to create stuff. And after that, I moved to Germany, work at another advertising company. So overall, my experience, I realized one thing is, I'm a product guy. I love good product. And I think that's my goal that time is I want to work for a company, have great product. And second of all is, if they are great brands, that will be awesome. So I got my first brand I was working at is Lego. So that was my little business card or break. So this is the experience. Suddenly I joined a company, have an amazing product. And in that category, they are so unique. And I was mainly working on their retail part to really create a experience, retail experience, how to engage with consumers from e-commerce point of view and also from physical store point of view. And as you know now, I work at IKEA. So, and I made it to the cover. It's not real. It's at the IKEA museum. If you want to go to the cover shop, go to the IKEA museum. It's really cool. So my job right now is doing global marketing and communication. And I work at a place. I used to work at a place called IKEA Creative Hub. And recently we reorganized, combined with our HQ office, so we more closely to the product. So mainly my job is doing global communication, and my job more closer to special collaboration, like Tom Dixon and recent designers collaboration. How we promote, how we create content, how we sell, how we create engagement with the people. How we create different experience to present our collection. So that's kind of my roughly journey. Kind of all over, but I think everything in the end makes sense. Why I end up here and why I really enjoy what I'm doing right now. So today, I know my topic is really talk about unique experience. I think this is really, for a lot of people, feel this is such a big topic. What's that mean? Because for me, there's two elements in this. Of course, it's two words as well: experiences. So for me, that's the key element. Is I'm a people guy. So when I create something, I want purely from user point of view. Even its communication, even its digital product, platforms, and everything. And I add unique because I believe. And I liked when people create a memory, element you can remember that experiences. I think that's what I'm really after. And normally, when we talk about experiences, and it's normally linked with our five senses. So now I'm going to show some examples, what I mean, from my point of view, what those unique experiences mean. So start from like what you see. And I often call it visual experiences. So people like, for most iconic example is this one. So from all the alcohol category and Absolute Vodka using their iconic bottle shape and tell the story. So throughout the years, they probably have hundreds of thousands of stories to tell. So that's make them really outstand from that category, and also make people remember that shape of the bottle, and that's the unique part of them. That's what I mean from visual point of view. That's I remember. So that's why I think that's the element I kind of after. Of course, that's more from advertising background when you see cool visuals. But then you tell about think about other stuff like what you smell. So I think Starbucks start with in the store you can smell the coffee really strong. So that's how they started. It's really iconic when people drive traffic to their store. And of course, nowadays it's pretty standard for a lot of coffee shops because coffee beans is just really attractive. And another example is actually Abercrombie, because I will even I'm not always going in there, but that one time experience it was always stuck in my mind, which I will never forget. That when I go to the store, the perfume, how strong it is, and I think that's kind of the simple element. People can remember the experiences. So another example is for example, what do you touch? I use Lego as example. Is before I joined Lego, actually, I don't have any Lego, and because when you see Lego, you don't feel like you want to do it. But my experience changes when, as an employee, sometimes they give you free examples. Then I start building. Suddenly, I feel this is really cool and engaging, and I kind of addicted. So in the end, right now, if you go to my living room, it's all of Lego stuff. So people probably think I'm a geek or something, but actually, it's just naturally building that. I think that experience is any other construction toy can't have, because the storytelling, because the involvement of your attention and the touch, and also I think that's just really unique. That's why I think they are still really strong in that category. So next one we'll see was something more immersed with all the elements we will think about. So my example, I remember I've only been there once, but I will never forget, which is a Universal Studio. So if you've never ever been to Disney or Universal Studio, you have go to one of their rides. You suddenly feel they're using sound, they're using smell. You have elements so real. So I remember that first time doing the Spider-Man 3D, 4D ride. It's a projection. It's not even a real ride. But that experience is my first time when I do a drop. I was so scared. I think that's a memory. It's still in my mind nowadays. Because even I only been Universal Studio once. So I think that's the thing gonna stay with people forever. So now I'm gonna play with more related to us. It's an ad from Indonesia, but I think certainly culture-wise, it more makes sense.
Ini passion mah. Passion apaan? Kamu pasti ikut-ikutan sama si Abdul. Oh, pacarku Abdi. Tuh kan, sejak kamu pacaran sama si Abdul, kamu berani ngelawan.
Gimana? IKEA, inspirasi sehari-hari.
So this blue box is full of experiences. That's why as a retailer in the business is so much challenge. We are still have a unique point standing in that business. Because start from the visual, the blue box, iconic, and then you can recognize that. When you walk in the showrooms, you can feel, you can touch, you can imagine this is a real home. And then pass by, you're gonna pass by the kitchen area. The Swedish meatball, the hot dogs, and other stuff is there. And then suddenly you go to other journeys. So all this is really impactful experiences, which is I can't imagine any other retailers have this kind of impactful experience. I think that's make it really unique, and that's make it really unforgettable. I think that's what I mean unique experience as well. So of course, this conference is all about digital products. So now we're going to talk about what that means for digital experiences. So when we talk about, when I mentioned I'm passionate about creating unique experience, and people always say, "Are you UX designer?" I would say, "No, I'm not UX designer," because I think nowadays will we UX designer have one, or any digital product team have one thing missing is we always imagining what real user is doing. We always plan everything. We always of course we try to fix and using user tags to do it, but we never really from purely user's point of view. So you guys probably have that experience. You do a prototype and give it to someone, then suddenly they click randomly. Then you say, no, you should click here, then go there, and then click there. If this real user can't, that's not really natural user feeling. So I think right now I just want to not imagining you are UX designer or you are product designer or you are anything work related task. Just imagining you are the user and with emotion. I think that's the thing. That's the thing I try to see. Maybe there's some interesting elements everyone can try. Is switch the position, switch the role of as purely as a user. Don't imagine. Okay, I know UX function. This is not great, but no, just imagine you are the user. What's that feeling is? So I can give a couple examples. This is everyone know this show probably. I'm lucky enough to work on this project. This is my first actually project work as a visual designer at Huge. I don't know the show that time because that's the first time they're launching the Game of Thrones in US on the platform called HBO Go. I have no idea about the show. I never read the book. And when I work on that, it's so hard because I didn't know how complex the story is. And I can't imagine the first time viewer when they see the rich element and relationship of each character, how that can be. So basically, then we try to solve the solution is what's the way we can help user when we watch the show, is other ways we can help you to understand the story, the relationship, and even the behind the scene, what happened on the show. So we create a special feature called, which is you can see from the demo. I know the sound didn't work really well, but you can kind of feeling this. During this time when you watch the show, there's the information card come up, and then you can dive into the details you want to know about. I think that's, of course, that time within the platform limitation, we only create it on the site. But can you imagine when you watch the show, suddenly you can interact with every content within that show. I think that's something really, really interesting, and it can be a really, really big potential as well. So I think that time in that stage is pretty interesting to see. Now I know this character, that element of his weapon, and the story between each family. So it helps the user to understand that even you didn't read the book. So now this example which is Black Mirror, this movie. Have everyone seen this movie? Yes? Yes. Cool. So I think this is another good example this year, as they really do something different, which is ultimately you can decide how the next step is of the of the movie, and every step you choose is a completely different ending. Of course, this actually I watched it with a group of friends, and it's actually kind of fun viewing experience. And we watched probably around 2.5 hours for this. We try to try every ending as more as possible. Of course, a lot of people have doing the same thing, and that's kind of really the first one, and really pushing to make storytelling in a completely different way. So this time, adding the experience, you're not just seeing the content. you are control the content. And that's the starting of interaction. I think that experience is gonna be really unique and stick in your mind. Of course, some people are even more crazy to map out all the decision and what the end can be. So I think that's the power, that's the engagement, that's the unique experience, what I mean as well. So imagining that time when everyone is doing this function on the desktop and on the mobile, and suddenly some company doing this function. And that company stand out. And I believe you all know which company is this one, right? Yes, no? No one wants to say you're using that. It's fine, it's fine. But I think that's the power. Again, that's a unique experience we're after. Knowing your audience, what everyone's doing, and what you knowing like certain behaviors, what users do, suddenly creates different certain interactional elements. Suddenly you stand out, and that's becoming iconic and signature. And another example, when we're traveling, we're all booking hotels. And I think all the hotel booking platforms, they are really, really good, because even maybe the interface point of view is not, but I think they are really, really, really good. They know the user really well. They know what they want. But however, suddenly there's a company, and of course, I'm not talking about business model and other things. But from experience point of view, suddenly you can travel like a local rather than travel as a tourist, which always end up in a hotel. I think that experience is so different. And now the company is really successful in even expanding in like travel guides and eating and more really localized experience. I think that's making them stand out and really unique. What I mean is completely not from business model point of view, but from user point of view. So that time I can imagine I can leave some local people in Paris. I can leave like a Berliner when I go to Berlin. So I think that experience is really unique, and people gonna remember that. And again, we're gonna bring back to this blue box. So at IKEA, we often we are kind of slow in digital part, because we have a strong store, and our digital is like, we have a lot of platforms, but nowadays we try to see what's the new way we can engage with people. So shout out to this special forces, which is called Space 10. It's an innovation research forum funded by IKEA. So they are the one doing special research for how the future can be, how the future living, food, and element. So they create an app called IKEA Place. I think maybe you guys know already. So here's a demo.
Hey, IKEA would like everyone to know about The Place, our new augmented reality app. Built on Apple's new AR kit, you can easily place true-to-scale 3D models of IKEA furniture in your place. Scan, browse, select, and place. Select the meanings of this. And less of this. You can completely see to imagine the share this place. This place. Try this in your place.
So we realize the function. Oh, that's just ending. We realize function is people can't realize how big or how actual size of the product within the surrounding. So this way they can solve that problem to really be pre-planning your visit to the store, help you to guide planning what's your rooms, what your homes want to look like, as closer as real as possible. And recently we updated the function of the app to have more like a visual search and more depth of expansion of the function. So this is one function I think I want to highlight. So now they can actually browsing the whole room set. So at the same time, you can measure and your space, your physical space. And within that space, they're gonna put the suggestion of the whole settings within the areas could be. So either way, it's not just focus on one product anymore. It's really providing solutions to help people's everyday life is much better, much easier. So that way, people have more varieties way to see what options they have within that space. So I think this is kind of what we are towards to, and definitely we are always working on how to make people's life easier and have a better home better life at home. So this is what I overall mean is creating a unique experience and that people can remember. It's really understand. I think we have good experiences. Everyone we are doing we know how to create good experience. But however, for example, text messaging apps, there's so many good messaging apps, but how many you can remember? What's the one gonna more stand out? For me, it's WeChat because I haven't seen a function of messaging app so complex. You have browsing element, you can payment element, you can do chat obviously, and so many other elements all combined. In China, you probably just with that app you can do anything. So I think that's the experience is completely different from other stuff. So I think that's what I after is when we create a good experience, then have a broader view is to see what your competitor or what other people doing. Then completely change the role, imagining you are the user, what you need, how to create that simple, clear experiences, or what's that unique part is, and then keep repeating that. I think that's the way I can see how that works. And so when you keep building that, suddenly there's a behavior, then people can remember. So this is overall is all the examples. I want to show you guys what a unique experience is. And ultimately, I will keep using this. Hopefully you slowly get into your head at what I'm trying to do. Will be Luke is whatever man you can imagine. So yeah, thank you. It's quick talk, but yeah.